Hi everybody, this is Yui. So today we're gonna go over 3-on-3 character selections. Yeah, let me zip my tea real quick. I'm kind of sick recently, so my voice will be sounds really boring throughout the entire video. But yeah, so this is supposed to be a beginner guide in terms of like when you first open this game, you don't know what the heck you're gonna do. You have a few like free, characters that you can play with. Um, but let's just really jump into like the free character that you have. Like I'll tell you a little bit about like why these are free, right? Kim, Joey, and also Lulu, I think. What is else? And then Cindy, right? Maybe there's one more I forgot. Oh, Big Dog, yeah, Big Dog. So my opinion on this is like if you don't want to spend a lot of money, don't play Kim and avoid Joey 100%. Lulu, you can maybe play her. And let's see what else. Big Dog, avoid Big Dog because Big Dog is very underpowered right now. And what else? Cindy is the same thing, like very underpowered right now. So avoid Cindy, avoid Big Dog, and Joey and Kim are actually very overpowered, but because they're they needs a lot of investment to be able to shoot consistently. So I say avoid them as well. But only character I think you should probably play is Lulu because Lulu can be a really good stretch big. So let's jump right into talk about bigs first because I main big. If you are just someone that doesn't care about playing big, you can skip the video. I'm gonna have a time spent down there to talk about in which time I'm gonna talk about what. So right now we're talking about big. One of the one of the really important elements in this game is what we call stretch big. Essentially, what it does is that a big that can shoot three, long range three or long range two. Um, these iterations of freestyle is pretty cool because back in the day when I played freestyle one, that was a long ass time ago. Bigs cannot shoot threes, so the kind of play that people run are usually two small and one big in the middle. Is very traditional way, but because in this game, big can also shoot threes, that this stretch big makes this game a lot more diverse, I would say. Essentially, what happens is after you have a stretch big, your opponent will have to follow you all the way to the 3 point line, and then leaving the entire pen in the middle open, right? And if that's the case, then your teammates can literally drive in and then shoot the ball because there would be nobody in the pen to defend that. So that's why I think especially as a beginner and you want to start playing big, consider about Lee and consider about using Lulu, and Lulu can shoot two pretty I would say pretty consistently. And I think if you just level her up to like P3 P4, she can be a really good 2 point threat. Now let's talk about if you don't have any cards, if you don't want to spend any money, what character as big that you should pick? You should definitely pick Lulu, and then you should definitely pick Lee. Lee is by far, I think, if you're not going to spend money, the best character in the game. Why is that? Because Lee has two shooting ability. Um, if you dive in right up, you see this thing called shooting touch. In a nutshell, what it does is it just makes you shoot your shots more accurately. Yeah, I mean, I don't know the inner math of that, but you just make you shoot more consistently. And if you P5 a lead, what does P5 mean, by the way? You just like level him up all the way to P5. I think that's like level 50 in equivalent because, in every single prestige level, you have to level up like 10, I think. So P5, after you P5 a lead, you're going to get how to say, like extra passive called a significant shot, signature shot, sorry. Signature shot will also make your ball more accurately. So having these passive on top of your shooting touch, Lee can be a huge 3 point threat. So that being said, you can literally just stand at three, and their big is going to come to guard you. If their big is not guarding you, you can just shoot threes all day. So that's why Lee is one of the best stretching big out there. Okay. Another one I would say is William. Right, people don't think about playing William that much when they first started. They usually start with Joey, but the problem with Joey and Kim is that they miss shot too much, right? But William is different. William actually make twos very consistently. It's because because of one of his skill. If you go all the way down here, it's called hop step. So when you play William, especially playing two, right? After you using your hop step, especially if you use this. Oh, by the way, let's take a look at hop step. If some of you don't know what it is. So essentially, what it is, you're going to have the ball, and then you can do like a backward jump. See, it creates all these like, oh god, get out of the way. It creates all these, a space. So when you do a jump shot and nobody in front of you, chances are you're gonna make that shot. So this is why William can also be a very effective 2-point shooter. But when you play stuff like Joey and Kim, it's very hard for you to get open. Just relying on one of your skills. For Kim, maybe you can use the quick change, but that's kind of hard for beginners. So don't worry about it. So for shooting twos, William is good because of these skills. And then another skills that he has is what we call the backward spin. We can take a look at that as well. So it's essentially it fakes people that you're going to go into the ring after you do, you hold the ball like that. Oh god, where did it go? Okay, come back here. It pretends that you're gonna go in, then you spin backward. So it's basically like a version 2 of your hop step, right? It creates that open space so you can drain shots all the time. So there you go. Even without cards, you can shoot pretty consistently with Lee, William, and Lulu. Lulu, on the other hand, just has a very high 2-point attributes that after P4, she can be a threat on 2. And now let's talk about ISO big. Well, one second, let me drink some waters. Offensively, when you play ISO big, there's a character called Luther. Luther is I would say that you don't need cards with Luther. Luther is really good. How do I call it? Because he has a really high balance, and then he can just like dunk on people's face all the time without worrying about getting blocked. Even against some of the best defender in the game, like Christa and Murdock, he can still be a threat sometimes. If you go into look at him, and you'll see his dunk attributes is really high, and he has a bunch of like hook shot. He has a bunch of offensive move like hook shot, turnaround shot, dunk on. Well, this is the most important. You can dunk on people's face, and in the post up fake, and tip in. Yeah. So I'm not gonna spend much time talking about him. But if you are somebody that just want to dunk on people's face and use some move to trick people, and this is going to be your guy. He can definitely be a threat. In the paint. So I'll say he's more like a offensive traditional big. In the game. ISO Clarke is someone that you need to spend a lot of money on, but he can be a huge threat, right? He's probably one of the most OP character in the game because he's just so hard to block if you play him right. Some of the best Clarke in this game, including I'll say Gasol and some of the Asian player that I seen on YouTube. I'm gonna share their link maybe later on. But yeah, it's very hard to guard. But if you're not going to spend a lot of money, just don't worry about that. ISO score. If you want to play ISO ball, right? So let's talk about ISO really quick. What exactly is ISO? I think let's do this really quick. Yeah, I'm just going to explain what an ISO looks like in a video format. Chuck Leo was the person that taught me how to ISO. But ISO score is very easy. So essentially what it does is, here, let me make this bigger.
Y'all ready?
I'm totally open.
I'm not gonna look at how you defend people. I'm going to jump straight to like the offensive play.
You see that steal? Not bad. Solid pass right there. Check.
Here.
Oh, from out.
Oh, they already scored. Okay.
Oh, from outside? I got him.
I want to go to like when they start having the ball on their hands. But it's kind of hard here. Let's go back.
Squeeze that ball. It's that deep.
Yeah, because they keeps Okay, I think I'm getting there.
Check.
Hey man, because they are too pro, they don't. Oh, there you go. Okay, is this ISO? Kind of. All right, whatever. So essentially, what it does is that you're going to have a main score in this area, like where Chocolate is standing. On the left side, you're going to have another score, and on the right side, you're going to have a stretch big, right? What it does is the stretch big, like I said, will pull, the defender. Like, see, this Murdock right here has to worry about this guy, and after Murdock goes there, and then this guy can go in, and then all this pen area will be open, right? So when play ISO, you want to have somebody that can go into the pin, have a manual layup skills, or have a hotback skills like William to create, basically make a lot of Kobe move, right? You can do all the stuff you want because the floor is so stretched that you can literally do anything you want, basically. I don't think it's a good example because I'm not sure if this max is a stretch. Let's see if they have better example. Come on, Chocolate, you win too much. I just want to see that one example. So this is a good. So like right off the bat, this is a ISO character selection. So Fred, William, and Professor, they can all be good ISO player because they all have manual layup, and then they all can run pretty fast. And if you run into here, let's see, jump.
Solid.
Okay, this score perfect.
Here. Those assists.
Okay, so there we go. Finally, okay. Yeah, you see, Fred is going to be the main scorer in this possession, and Professor on the other side, and the Willie on the left side. So you see how he runs the ball, right? Because see how they are positioning themselves. This guy is on the left side, that guy on the right side. Big Dog on the left side has to guard this guy, right? He has to always care about the person on the left, and Carolina has to guard that person over there. And then look at how he plays. He's like, okay, I'm just gonna walking around. See, just do a manual layup right away because that he doesn't have to worry about Big Dog blocking him, right? Big Dog has to stay around this area so he can just literally lay up in these people's face. There you go. So this kind of play is actually very easy to pull off. It's literally, because you stretch people out, or you just have to play one-on-one essentially. Okay. So that's been covered. ISO score with no cards. You can play Fred. You see that Fred over there, right? The kind of move that he makes requires literally no cards, and the percentage of layup is really high, 95%, I would say. So chances you're going to score pretty easily. So Jason, William, Fred, and Carolina are all pretty good score with no cards, and then Rebecca and Professor. So Professor right here, you see that's one of the ISO character as well. Professor doesn't naturally, I would say, like, if you want to make Professor very useful, I would say you probably need to invest some money to get a long range layup card. So you would increase his layup range. And he also doesn't shoot 2s and 3s consistently without cards. So that's why I think Professor needs some investment. And Rebecca on the same, it's the same thing. Like because she also does a lot of like pull up jumper, and if you don't have good cards on her, then that's not gonna be good. Okay, now let's talk about long range score. Amanda is some character that can just like shoot 2 and 3s really well because she has a really high, I think the highest attribute in 2s and 3s for shooting forward, small forward. So Amanda doesn't have any cards, doesn't need any cards. That if you want to like to shoot long range score, do that all the time with her. And long range score that requires really good cards are Kim, Joey, and Rin. I'm basically not going to go into much detail in this character because I'm going to cover them very detailedly in the strategy play video. So just know that if you don't want to spend money, avoid these people for good. Okay, let me zip some water. So for your defensive play, let's talk about rebound, right? Rebound, Max. I think Max, Christa, Luther are probably the best rebounder in this game. Max is a pay character, but what makes him so good is one of her. I don't know if it's a his or her, but one of the passive It's called a box out master, because box out is a hard topic to cover within a video. But if you just someone that never know how to box out, and then you don't know how to position yourself, Max is going to be a great great pick for you, because this move. Yeah, I'll show this move. So you see, if somebody pushes you, right, as other big, right, who doesn't have this skill, will be just push away. But look at her, look at him. Yeah, he can just like push him back and stand there and get the rebound, right? So I'll say Max is definitely newbie friendly, even though it's a free character. But if you want to get a lot of rebound and yeah, look at that smell, man! Oh my god. So yeah, this is probably the best one of the best moves that I think in the game. Another one is what we call the chip out. This move was a required move in Freestyle 1. Every center needs to get it, but in this game, not everybody has it. So it's basically that when somebody shoots over the ball, instead of just jumping for the ball directly, you chip it out. Why chip out is so useful? Because some chip out is faster than regular jump. So in the case that you don't have a good internet connection, you can abuse this move as well. So overall, he's a good, and he also had all of the power rebound that can go horizontally. Yeah, pretty much. That's why I think Max is really good. Christa, on the other hand, I think Christa is just a very versatile kind of big, because she can also be one of the best blocker in the game, but also have a very high attributes in power rebound, in rebound overall. So he can grab power rebound really far away, and also her vertical jump is really high as well. And then talk about Luther. Luther has the highest rebound attribute in the game, but one of his weakness is he doesn't have power rebound. So he definitely is not a beginner friendly character to play, because I feel like in this game, Christa and Max are more beginner friendly, because you can use a power rebound to get like far rebound. But for Luther, he can only do like vertical jump. But on the good side, the positive side of the vertical jump is that he can jump really high. So that being said, if you guys are contested in a situation where there's a ball that is high and close, chances are Luther's going to get it, right? Because of his attributes. So Luther is also pretty good, but I want to suggest that to someone who just got into the game. Lee, the reason why Lee I put it here, it's not because that he has good attribute or anything. It's because his speed. Sometimes speed actually matters when it comes to rebounding. So for example, that Lee, you are outside shooting a ball, but you miss it. But because you're so fast, you can actually get into the rebound range for your power rebound faster than your opponent. So you can pretty much grab the ball faster. That's why I have this mobility right here to explain why Lee is also pretty good. All right, now let's talk about blocking. So blocking, oh man, Christa is really good at blocking. Is for someone who just got into this game that doesn't have a lot of context. So back in the day in Freestyle 1, you can pretty much block and catch like any jump shot, but you cannot block and catch a dunk, right? But what makes her so OP? He can do a dunk, block, and catch. Just look at this shit. Oh, that just feels so good. Look at that. So this is one of the most OP, OP move I've ever seen. If Lee has this, oh, I'll be so happy. But yeah. But anyway, and also another thing we call manual block. So what is manual block? Manual block is when people using, for example, you guys already know what manual layup is, right? You can choose your direction, left and right. Manual block is a counter to that. You can go to your left side and block it, go to the right side and block it. So for someone like Luther doesn't have this skill, then they can't block. They can still block, but they cannot. How do you call it? They cannot block so easily like Christa and Lee. So this is also one of the good skills. And what else? Lee blocking. Lee for what I have here is Lee is not so good at blocking like dunk or layup, but he is really good at blocking people like doing jump shot, because he's the fastest center among all of the center. And along that, the same thing with Murdock. Murdock already very fast instead of being one of the fastest power forward. That can also has a really high block attributes. I think his jump shot block attribute is one of the highest. So definitely Murdock and Christa are the best blocking big in the game. And I'll just say Lee, like William and Max, these are good shot blocker. All right. Let's see what else. Defensive small. So this will be for someone that just like nothing but make your opponent suffer. You can play Pedro and Carter. Carter is so under mentioned. I think Carter is a really good character. Right? Just a few people that play him, but Carter is like king killer. I just say that. If I have Carter on my team and then a king, opponents, I don't need to even worry too much about the king. Carter have the shot intercepting that will make King miss most of his what is called quick shot. So Carter is a good King counter, and then Pedro is just an overall good counter to someone who likes to ISO. So Pedro can counter pretty much all of these characters right here, like Jason, William, Fred, and Carolina, who has to have ball on their hand. But yeah, so that pretty much covers it all. And then another thing I want to mention at the very last is Murdock also has a P5, what is it called? P5 skills that can block people from behind. So with that being said, a Murdock can literally stand anywhere on the court and be a threat, to people around him. So he can literally like somebody. So let's take a look at here. Why do I need to sign? Okay. See, even if somebody passes him already, right, he can block people from behind. So a good strategy as playing Murdock is fake that you let people passing you and just block them from behind. But that's a P5 skills. All right, that's about it for this video. I'm gonna talk about more on materials in a later video, but in a nutshell, if you don't want to spend a lot of money, I'm gonna post this along with the video. Then just this is going to be your reference. All right, thanks for watching.